The city of Rose Hill is gearing up for another hometown Christmas. We talked to the people behind this beloved Rose Hill tradition.
And later, a high school student is battling cancer for a second time. We give updates on her condition and prognosis.
These stories and much more on Channel 7 News. Good morning, I'm Dakota Morgan.
And I'm Sarah Bailey. It's that time of year where communities give back to those less fortunate, in hopes that all can enjoy this Christmas season.
Clubs at Rose Hill hold an annual event that brings joy to families in need. Vlad Bondarchuk has the story on Adopt a Family.
At the beginning of December, Julie Wojcik starts Adopt a Family, a program to help local families in Rose Hill with Christmas dinner and some gifts for kids.
It is a program that we do every Christmas. Different groups like community groups, school groups, Stuco, K's, several of the churches in town adopt a family. That means that they agree to sponsor a family anonymously and buy gifts for children and provide them with a Christmas dinner, which would be, food, a turkey, ham.
Julie told us that this program is something they do every Christmas, where Stuco, Case Club, and several of the churches in town raise money to help with Adopt a Family.
I send out letters in early November every year to all the different places in town, and I mean Rose Hill, and here at school, and not just the high school, but like the intermediate school and the middle and the primary school, to their groups, and ask them if they'd like to adopt a family. And I have some individual families that call me and say, I'd like to adopt a family. I don't know that I've had anybody that wasn't in the district offer, because when I send out letters asking for help, I just send the letters to people within the school district, because that's the boundary that we have of the families that we help. We're a rural school, so we have kids that have, Douglas address, Rose Hill, even Augusta, Andover, Derby, but they are actually in our district. So if they live within the school district, we can help them.
Vlad Bondarchuk, Channel 7 News.
Hometown Christmas is a joint effort put on by many in Rose Hill. And this year, Dakota took a look at the work and time put into programs like Lee Media Group in order to make this Rose Hill tradition happen every year.
The most wonderful time of the year has rolled around once again in Rose Hill, and Channel 7 News went over to Lee Media Group to talk about the fast approaching hometown Christmas. We spoke to a few of the project managers who were working on some of the various exciting activities going on during this very special event.
So if you're interested in attending or learning more about Hometown Christmas, please join the Facebook group. Just do a search for Rose Hill Hometown Christmas, and you can get all of the information and the details about the event.
We asked about the expectations and anticipated events taking place during this hometown Christmas. We also received a few specific details on some of the resplendent activities going on during hometown Christmas.
So I think one of the most exciting parts would be the trolley rides that are free going around town.
It's a fantastic event. It brings a lot of people together. The thing that I like the best is the auction. You get all kinds of things donated, and it's an opportunity to buy and help support the hometown Christmas.
For all families, and since it's all free for the families that come and participate. So the kids get to see Santa, they get to, everything they do is free. From making ornaments to building gingerbread houses, and it's a real good community event to bring people together for the holidays.
Hometown Christmas has been a beloved tradition for many years. We asked what Hometown Christmas means to the people involved in working on it.
To me, it's kind of like a old town atmosphere, because you got all the stuff that people used to do when they were kids, and you're kind of bringing it back.
We've been in Rose Hill for 29 years. So since they started it, we thought it was a wonderful family-oriented event.
Wishing you a very Merry Hometown Christmas, Dakota Morgan, Channel 7 News.
After the break, we check in with a brave high school student who's battling cancer for the second time.
And later, we sit down with boys basketball coach Josh Shirley to discuss the new season. So stay with us.
Back in October, Caitlin Stewart, a sophomore at Rose Hill, was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. This is her second time fighting this particular form of cancer, of which she is the only known patient in North America. Recently, Sarah spoke to Caitlin's mother about her fight against this disease, which has claimed so many.
Sertoli-Leydig cell tumors are a very rare cancer, found in the ovaries and comprising less than 1% of ovarian cancers. Sophomore Caitlin Stewart has fought this in April of 2017. When the doctors, Caitlin, and her family thought it was all said and done, the cancer had resurfaced on October 27th earlier this year.
Well, in last April of 2017, she had been very sick for a few months, and we had taken her into the doctor, and they thought she had just like a viral thing. Well, they did some lab work, and her white blood count was very elevated, which meant she was fighting off an infection, and then they did a CT scan because she was complaining of pain in her abdomen and discovered that she had a very large mass attached to her right ovary. And so they took her in and immediately took her into the hospital, and they did surgery to remove that. It's so rare that St. Jude was even sending it off to specialists in Germany and Boston before. And so they, when the doctor called us within an hour of having the MRI done, saying, you know, it's not good, her belly's full of it, we need you to come back to the hospital. So we did, and they started chemo immediately.
When the testing came back negative, they kept it on observation with the hospital every 3 months. The first 3 were looking good, unlike the next 3 that would take a toll on everyone. Her entire abdomen and pelvic area are covered with 3 large tumors, one measuring over 30 centimeters. In honor of Caitlin's ovarian cancer awareness, a basketball game's theme will be Teal Out.
But the rhabdomyosarcoma, the pathology and the oncologists are not understanding why those sarcoma cells are inside her tumors, because they're not a related type of cancer. It's basically, she in a sense has a cancer inside her cancer. She's the only person in North America that has this, and she has to go through chemo every 21 days, and it's a 5-day cycle of chemo where she has chemo running 24 hours a day for 5 days straight. And she has to be in the pediatric ICU unit that entire time that's happening. And we're just very optimistic and hopeful that she gets through this and gets to be one of those very few that make it through, you know. But she's great, and she loves her school, and she is very upset because she wants to be at school, and she's an honor student, and she's worried about her grades.
With the bill adding up to around $259,000, they try and raise awareness for not only ovarian cancers, but also childhood cancers.
And just being in the pediatric ICU, it's sad. It really is sad, all these kids that have to go through this. But she's doing great. I'm just really glad that the chemo's working, and hopefully, I did talk to her surgeon the other day, and they're gonna hopefully be able to get that surgery going, and then maybe another round of chemo to make sure there's no cells behind and left behind. She'll be ready to go. We're just praying that she doesn't have to lose her left ovary, because I know she was pretty worried about that. She was pretty upset when they had to remove her right one. Piling up medical bills like crazy. But it's okay. It's worth it, because her health and her life is my world. So I'd do anything for her, and I wish I could do this for her instead of her having to go through it.
It's a hard thing. Donating to these causes is a huge help for the parents who have this tragedy occurring with their children. You can help by donating to GoFundMe.com under the title of Caitlin's Cancer Fund. Every little bit counts.
The numbers are low, but she's a fighter, and we're just very optimistic and hopeful that she gets through this and gets to be one of those very few that make it through, you know?
Sarah Bailey, Channel 7 News. To support Caitlin's fight, you can go to www.gofundme.com/Caitlin's Cancer Fund.
The early season has proven to be successful for the Rose Hill Scholars Bowl team. The varsity team recently participated in the Wellington Invitational as well as the Winfield Invitational. At Wellington, they placed third in the round-robin portion, while they took second in the finals. At Winfield, they took fourth in the finals. New math teacher Ashley Keller is the coach for the Scholars Bowl team, and she said that the team has aspirations to go to regionals this year, and the season is progressing toward this goal.
Our JV had a meet so far as well, and they're doing well too. We have a really strong senior presence, which is helping with leadership for the up and coming.
Coming up next with your weather forecast and later in sports, Skylar Brown breaks down the early season performances of the boys and girls basketball teams.
Also, stay tuned for an exclusive look at Channel 7 News staff trip to KWCH Studios. All of this after the break.
Welcome back. Winter has hit with a fury this week as temperatures cool down and Christmas sits closer. For our current conditions, winds will reach 16 miles per hour and the highs will hit around 50 degrees while the lows will be in the mid-20s today. For our weekend conditions, we will start us off with a high around 49 degrees and a low of 30 degrees. The wind will pick up to 12 miles per hour on Saturday. Saturday's temperatures will start increasing on Sunday with a high of 61 and a low of 34. Sunday's winds will stay about the same as Saturday with 11 mile per hour winds. Now to our 5-day forecast for next week. Monday we have a high of 54, slightly cloudy, and a low of 36. Tuesday a high of 52, cloudy, and a low of 31. Wednesday a high of 50 and a low of 32, sunny. Thursday a high of 52, slightly cloudy, and a low of 30. And Friday a high of 47, slightly cloudy, and a low of 31. For our Christmas weather forecast, the highs are supposed to be in the low 50s, and the low is going to be in the range of 31 degrees. Precipitation is being estimated to be around 25%, and the wind's going to be somewhere near 14 miles per hour. Disappointingly, the radar is calling for not a white Christmas this year. After the commercial break, Skylar sits down with head boys basketball coach Josh Shirley to discuss the upcoming season. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. I'm here with boys basketball coach Josh Shirley. Coach, thank you for your time. So, coming off a disappointing season, what would you define this season for being a success?
Last year was kind of a tough season for us. We had situations where the previous year, my first year here, we started 5 seniors. We're fairly successful with them, didn't have a lot of the guys who played last year playing varsity minutes. So that really challenged us. We felt like we fought quite a bit last year. I think we had a tally, we lost somewhere like 10 games by 7 points or less. I think we brought back 3 lettermen from that team last year. So the big change this year is going to be we are bringing back 2 All-League players with Dalton Rapp and Kobe Campbell. They both were voted All-League players last year, so they're coming back. We also have several other lettermans. Dylan Sapp lettered last year. Cole Knight lettered last year. Aaron Moore lettered last year. So we have a lot of people back this year that know our system. They've understood the pace of play in a varsity game. They also had a lot of success last year as a JV program. Won the most JV games we've had in a long time here. So we're very excited about them, very excited about what the season can be. So we think that having that continuity, having more people is going to help us have more success this year.
So what leads you to believe that this year could be any better? Have you seen anyone that might be key players or being able to play key minutes in games this year?
What we've seen really this year is we challenged our guys at our beginning of the season meeting, and we talked about finding more everyday guys, people who come in every single day, come in ready to work. We talk about all the time that the days you get the best are the days you don't feel good. When you feel good and play good, you're going to get better, but you get a lot better when you maybe don't want to be at practice, or you don't want to be a shoot-around, or don't want to follow the scout. But we've got guys this year so far who have been everyday guys. I can't think of one practice where I really left thinking, gosh, that was a bad practice, which is a lot different feeling than we've had here in the past. We've got a lot of guys who understand how things work. We've got some leaders who have stepped up, like I mentioned earlier with Kobe Campbell, Dalton Rapp, as underclassmen have really stepped up and elevated their play. And then our 4 seniors we have with Peyton Austin, Aaron Moore, Dylan Sapp, and Cole Knight have really brought about an energy that they understand how things work here, which has been very crucial to maybe having more success this year.
Okay. So this being your 3rd year as head coach, what do you feel needs or has to change about whether it be the way you're training or the program for it?
Well, what we've talked about quite a bit is that winning's not a game night thing. Winning is an everyday part of the process. Coming in, working hard every single day, getting extra shots up, focusing on your form and shooting. You don't show up and win. We don't put win totals, win goals out there. We're not a program who says we want to win the league or we want to win the state. We want to support our actions. What do our habits show? How are we saying that we want to win games by coming in every day and working? So I think that is key, is having that attitude of understanding it's a process, because we always talk about outcomes are largely out of our hands. The one thing, or the things that we can control, is our effort, our attitude, and our hustle and work ethic. And I think that we've kind of started to adopt that philosophy. Earlier seasons, we'd have to ask to get on the floor, dive on the floor for loose balls. Now it's not uncommon to see maybe 4 guys diving on the floor after 1 loose ball in our practices. So we're practicing a lot harder. We have more of that toughness, and it's really starting to show. And we got to keep building on those things to develop the program that we want here and that we know is possible here.
Okay, so also going into your 3rd year as head coach, you start to notice some things that might need changing, or say things that were really good with the last program. How would you describe the basketball program here at Rose Hill?
Right now, we've got a great opportunity. I mean, we've got great facilities. We've got just everything you need to have a good program. We're trying to reach out more and more to our younger programs too, and starting to get them more involved in our program, which we believe will pay huge dividends as we go forward. And we just got to have the guys who keep understanding what it takes as they come up to the varsity level. And like I said, I think we're really starting to turn the corner, and our guys really are just starting to get it. They're really starting to understand and live. We have 3 core values we talk about all the time, which is we want our guys to be relentless, we want to be tough, and we want to have pride in where they come from. We really feel like that's starting to happen here, that our team is starting to live those core values, not just say them. So.
Thank you for your time, Coach. After the break, I will be back with your winter sports.
The boys Rocket basketball team played against Augusta last Friday and lost with the final score of 58-41. They also played Garden Plain last Tuesday and won with a final score of 64-40. Kobe Campbell led the Rockets in scoring against the Orioles with 14 points. Dalton Rapp was the leading scorer against Garden Plain with 17 points. The Lady Rockets basketball team also opened the season with 2 losses. They fell to Augusta in the opener 61-44. They dropped their next game to Garden Plain 60-45. Emily Adler led the Rockets in scoring in the opening contest, putting up 15 points, while Emma Cunningham scored 17 points in the second game. Both teams are back in action tonight and tomorrow, and both games are at home. The Rockets take on Heston tonight and Chanute tomorrow. The Rockets wrestling team lost to McPherson 42-26 in their opening duel. Ben Black won with a pin, with Kyle Sackett, Chase Thrush, Clayton Epley, and David Leck won by decision. The Rockets then placed second at the El Dorado Invitational last week. Sackett, Thrush, Leck, and Grant Shear all took first place. Up next for the wrestling team is a tournament at Wellington tomorrow. The Rockets swimming team took 11th at the Mays meet. The 200-yard freestyle relay team took 7th, while Hayden Kaut took 8th in the 100 backstroke. Up next for the swimmers is a meet this afternoon at El Dorado. Here are the all-league football selections. There are no selections for football for first team, but Cody Wallace made second team, and honorable mentions were Nolan Hast, Dalton Rapp, and Travis Jones. Sarah and Dakota, back to you.
Recently, the Channel 7 News team took a trip to KWCH studios to see the inner workings of how they put on shows. Aislinn Robert has the story on the revelatory visit.
The Channel 7 News team had the opportunity to visit KWCH, which is the top-rated news outlet in Wichita. The staff was able to get a tour of the news set, as well as a visit with on-air talent, such as Scott Evans and Meryl Teller. Scott Evans is the news anchor for the morning and noon broadcasts. We had the chance to ask him about his employment and KWCH.
I am one of our anchors, so I anchor the morning newscast, Eyewitness News this morning, and also Eyewitness News at noon. I think the reason Channel 12 is as popular as it is today is because it has amazing talent that's been here for a long time.
He also said a few things about his career in the news industry.
I've been at other stations across the country, and you see the stations that are really good and really popular. It's because they have a pattern of good people, but when you have consistent people like Meryl Teller, Roger Cornish, Michael Schwenke, Melissa Scheffler, that people can get used to them, they're comfortable with them. And so as long as we continue to build our trust, or your trust in us, then you're going to continue to come back and rely on us to be consistent and deliver you the news that you want.
Meryl Teller has been a meteorologist at KWCH since September of 1981. He said he became interested in weather as a child.
Well, I'm Meryl Teller, and I'm one of the 5 meteorologists that we have here at Channel 12. We handle the weather for about 3/4 of the state of Kansas because we're actually not one television station. We're 4 different television stations. We do all the weather from here. We have our station here in Wichita. We have another one in Dodge City. We have another one in Hayes, and our 4th station is out in Goodland, Kansas. Well, I have a degree, a college degree, a Bachelor of Science in meteorology. I have a couple of years of graduate studies also. I got interested in weather as a young child, and that kind of just carried me right through. When I was looking at colleges, I only looked at colleges that had meteorology programs, because not all of them do. Here in Kansas, the only place you can go get a meteorology degree is KU. None of the other colleges have a full program.
The tour of Channel 7 was a valuable experience in the art of broadcasting. The staff learned things how to work behind the scenes and how to be an aspiring anchor. Aislinn Robert, Channel 7 News.
Ever wonder what goes on behind the scenes at Channel 7 News? Well, director Micah Streeter has been putting together a special behind-the-scenes episode, which will air as the last show of the semester. Here's a sneak peek.
Oh, hello. I guess you've always wondered what goes on here at Channel 7 News. Right over there's the desk. Back to me, okay. It's dark in here. Anyways, here at Channel 7, we've always thought, what if we gave people the chance to figure out what we do? Like that. Vlad's doing some hard work right now. Late in his purple pink shirt. Here. Over here it's pretty loud, I don't know. Let's try to get through there fast. See, a lot of work getting done. Let's go. I said, well, can that be the beat straight up? Here it's a little quiet. We have a lot of people hard at work here doing their stories, especially Scotland. Here we have all our stories and stuff that we gotta get done by Friday. Which is today, if you're watching today. Anywho. Hey. So this is Sarah.
I want to be on camera, put me.
Back to me. Anyways, so tune in for our next show, which is a special behind-the-scenes look at all that goes behind Channel 7 News. Thank you. All right, let's see how that went.
That's all the time we have for today. I'm Sarah Bailey.
From all of us here at Channel 7 News, thanks for watching. I'm Dakota Morgan, and have a great day.